Saul Sanderson is back in his Saskatoon home after spending his time this week supporting grieving members of James Smith Cree Nation, where he was born.
There's still a lot of shock in the families and a lot of people very hurt.
The horrific mass stabbing attack that left 10 people murdered and another 18 injured shocked people around the world. Sanderson says it was an eruption of violence he's long feared.
The sad thing for me is that I've been warning about this type of thing going to happen for years.
For nearly 65 years, Sanderson's fought to dismantle what he calls colonial suppression of Indigenous self-governance in Canada, including foundational precedents like a 1493 papal bull used to validate the theft of Indigenous lands and resources that set the stage for more than 500 years of systemic racism and cultural genocide.
That's what it was all about, taking away our way of life, so we destroy ourselves. The violence will internally. Will go internally. That's what's happening today. Like the James Smith Cree Nation.
He condemns the senseless murders of First Nations family members. The two men charged were members of the same nation, one that, like many across the country, struggles with high rates of death by suicide, mental health issues, substance abuse, violence and addictions, which Saul Sanderson sees as a product of colonial issues centuries in the making.
Nobody even knows, but there was a law of dominance that made it legal to kill Indians, and we're still doing it today.
Now, with the Queen's passing, he's renewing calls for action from the monarchy.
Do you think there needs to be an apology from the monarch?
I think more than that. There has to be a new arrangement looked at in terms of an agreement, a reconciliation implementation agreement that provides for the recognition of everything they denied in 1493 under that papal bull.
Dr. Keisha Supernant is Métis on her dad's side and British on her mother's side. A specialist in Indigenous archaeology, she's directly involved in ongoing investigations at former residential schools and understands the impacts generational trauma can have.
I think we're at a very important moment with all of these things sort of coalescing to bring forth this conversation and to make sure that if we have any hope of reconciliation, that we have to remember that truth comes first. And that includes the truth of the impact of the British monarchy and the British Empire.
Sanderson agrees, remaining optimistic a major shift is possible.
King Charles supports us. He can even dance powwow.
A new monarch on the throne has some here feeling hopeful for improved relationships and ensuring unfulfilled promises, and the perpetuation of abuse against Indigenous people will one day become history. Neetu Garcha, Global News, Saskatoon.